Welcome to Oldtown, a traditional 1700s town overlooked by a colossal castle. This town has been carefully restored and slightly modernised to keep his historical feel, attract visitors from all around the world to come and visit a traditional Europe market town. What was here is now gone, but the architecture stays the same. A traditional centre plaza that leads all the ways. As you can see, beautifully tiled and restored with a slight hint of modernisation, straight roads leading in every direction. The train station, the bridge, beautiful views all the way, and the castle on the hill. But is there haunted down that way? Oldtown looks beautiful with its white buildings and red roofs, but what goes on in the haunted house, stood alone, different, next to the windmill? A story to come, but we don't know as of yet. Leave in the comments down below what you think the lore should be behind the haunted house. But as you see, the streets are cobbled, plenty of pedestrians and very little cars. It looks fantastic and I'm really happy with how it's come around. We've got a nice traditional train station right at the end of the straight road, which is actually bringing plenty of visitors through. We've changed the colour of the platforms and the tiles on the car park just to make it match the kind of old theme. A small traditional church with those buried beneath, and some ruins looking out to the sea. Graveyards around, some strange standing stones. What could be the history behind those? But a cracking view of the old town, wonderful city built for expansion. As you can see, across the river is where we'll be. This is our series Starfish Point. In the last episode we built this traditional old town. I tweaked a few things and added a few things, including the density off camera, just to add a little bit more creation. But we've got some big plans, exciting plans. I'm really looking forward to this video because we're going to be expanding to the other side of the river, and I've got a cool idea. But yeah, how do you think this looks? I think it looks fantastic. I'm really happy with the way that it's turned out here, especially with these additions. Just imagine when Asset Editor is released, how fantastic builds like this will be. So let me show you a little recap then. So obviously we've got the castle on the hill here, the traditional castle asset that we placed with the winding road up to the top. It sits really nicely on this hill here. You can get a really good look over the city. This is where, in the olden days, where the royalty would live in this castle. And the armies that would protect here from raids or barbarians, whatever you prefer. The world is your oyster. But it's got a nice straight road with a grand view of the plaza. Either side and behind it's just greenery, waterfalls looking beautiful as ever. And then down here is the newly restored quays and footpaths that go along the outside. It looks really, really good. All of these houses look fantastic, all the buildings. The town centre or market square, since the last video I've just adjusted some of the surfaces, added plenty of bike racks and a few more umbrellas for people to relax in. Down here we have the haunted house. We're still awaiting a story for our haunted house, but we've got a nice kind of walkway over to it. It looks really, really good, and it actually sits there quite nicely. Just kind of perched, different to everything else, just perching there, right on the edge. We've also got this windmill. We don't know the story behind the windmill, but it's been recently restored in a hope that we'll gain more visitors to the windmill for some tourism. But this is your traditional kind of city break city that you come to visit over a long weekend. And as you can see, I've adjusted the train station a little bit that we've discussed. It's getting loads of use. As you can see, there's plenty of people here waiting, plenty of bikers going around, and lots of people on the city streets, as you can see. And then finally another addition that we did off camera, just to kind of place a little bit just to keep me ticking over when I was a little bit bored. We got these kind of castle ruins with graveyards, some strange standing stones that nobody really understands the mystery behind them, with some weird stone carved faces as well. We don't know what those stones represent, but we do know that many years ago this was a fort that looked out onto the sea, onto the ocean, and that was the first line of defence for anybody that came to raid our old town. Obviously, if you made it through here, you'd have to breach the castle, but the castle was never breached, which is why it stands so strong today on that hill, right at the neck of these rivers. But yeah, it looks fantastic. So in this video anyway, enough of me yapping. We want to try and sort out this coastal bit, this coastal area that we've got here. It would be really nice to try and sort that out and just finish that off a little bit. But then we also want to branch out across the other side of the river. I've got some cool ideas for this, trying to maintain the views from the centerpiece, so hopefully we can get that going pretty well and make that look nice. So in this area down here, I don't necessarily want any more buildings as such, because we've got this beautiful kind of raised area with these kind of memorial / historical gardens in a way, which look pretty cool. So what I think we'll do down here is just try and make it look a little bit nice. We'll probably try and pull this road to flow down and round, kind of curving somewhat with and somewhat without this, and we want a nice little ferry stop here, and we can kind of pretend that that was the original docking port for when the settlers first moved to this area, but it's been nicely restored to modernise it for new tourists and guests. So we'd like to have that here, potentially a nice old lighthouse or similar right on the tip here. Would be pretty cool to look at, and just basically like traditional nice looking stuff around the edges. So we'll go with the ferry terminal first. I think what we're going to do is we're going to actually place it at a slight angle, or do we want it like this? I think a slight angle like this. We might actually pull it back a little bit, just like that. Fantastic. And to be honest, other than this building, it doesn't look too modern, which is good, because I didn't want it to be too modern. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to start placing a road around here, and we're just going to kind of pick said road and just see if we can curve it round and up towards the main city, just in that sort of general direction, and then cross the railway line. But we want it to link up to that road there, so we want this to be as 180 as it will be. I don't think it's going to play ball, is it? I think we're just a little bit too skew-iff on our angle for this to work efficiently. So I mean, that could work. Potentially that could work, and we could actually just dot a few maybe old town houses around here as well along the way. But for the time being, that's not an awful road. It's not awful at all. And I might just drag this just a little bit further. Something like that. And we'll just kind of dot that right on the end here. Potentially put a cul-de-sac in. Something like that. Just so that the road ends there. I think that would be quite nice. I want to probably pull this out and round here and have the little lighthouse just on the tip there. I think that'd be quite cool. Okay, I think you can kind of see the idea that I'm going for. Just having this nice little out sort of bit here. That wasn't really English, was it? This little out sort of bit. I don't think that's the right kind of wording, but whatever. We just want to try and flatten this off just a little bit. And we probably want to maybe soften this terrain as well. It just goes a little bit skew-iff when you play with the keys, which is a little bit annoying, because it would just be nice if it was all fantastic and smooth, but it's never really that way. So we'll just have a little dance around with this. Hopefully it should blend it in a little bit better than it was before. It does a little bit, no problem at all. And then right on the tip here, we want to find a lighthouse. We want that lighthouse to be a static ploppable, because we don't want to have to try and drag some sort of water and have a road connection, all that stuff. So we want it as a static ploppable. We'll just have a little look. So this is quite a nice lighthouse. What other ones do we have? That one's pretty cool. That one's pretty cool. I think there is a bigger one. Is it this one? Yeah, I think that's the one, you know. I think that is a very good looking building. Any particular... I think like this would be the best. So we'll whack you down there. I think that looks quite cool. I really like that. So then we just need to kind of try and decorate around here. We also need to link up this cycle path, which probably some of you watching this video right now saying, the cycle paths don't look very good. I don't think you should have it. If enough of you comment that I should get rid of the cycle paths, then I will do it. I will do it. But for now, you will enjoy them, whether you like it or not. I do want to... Why are the connections not smooth is my problem. So frustrating when it does not work. So yeah, I'm going to try to link up our cycle path that we've got one way or another into our city. Because it's connected to the other side, and if it connects here, that should be good. Although it's really annoying that it's gone a bit skew-if, but I'm not really sure there's much more we can do about that. But you know what, I don't like that. I'm going to change it slightly. So I like what I've done with the train station, this sort of texture on the car park. So I'm probably going to do the same over this car park here, just to make it a little bit older, because it looks a little bit too clean to me. I think it could probably do with a little bit of elderly growth. Is that a thing? That's definitely not correct wording, but that's not the point. So we're just going to adjust it ever so slightly and cover off the old surface with something new like this natural stone. Hopefully it will look pretty decent once we're done with it, but again, who knows, it could look like anything. So we won't get our hopes up too much, because you know what it's like, it doesn't always work. So I'm just going to fill in a little bit of these car park here, and just hopefully we'll have something good at the end of it. Fingers crossed. If that clips as well, that would also be helpful. Oh, turn off the snapping. There we go. So we've made a few adjustments here and there. We've surfaced over the road again with the cobbled streets that we've got that go throughout the city. It just makes sense to keep that flowing through. We've connected up the bike path, and we've decorated around our lighthouse that's sat on the end. This is just a bit of a rogue choice. It's kind of like a 4 tombs within this kind of tribute memorial sort of place, just on the seaside. It's unknown who is kept in these tombs at the time being. Maybe if you want to comment down below the 4 people that are special enough to be buried in the tombs right by the water's edge. Maybe they are the last 4 sailors that were last here. I don't know. 4 fallen warriors that were guarding in the fort that were found down here. Anything. It could be anything. But this area just starts to feel a little bit more full up. And then we just need to kind of see what we can do down here. I'm not really sure what we do down here just yet. Part of me thinks that we should just keep it as trees and stuff like that, but I'm not entirely sure, so I'm going to have a little look. Also, while we're here, can you notice anything different about my microphone quality? I can imagine that if you probably went back and listened to my old videos and then listened to this one, you'd probably notice a bit of a difference. I think this one is better. I'm still getting used to it and still adjusting these settings, so Let me know how it is and let me know if it's an improvement. I hope it is, because I spent some money on this new mic. So fingers crossed it is better. But I'm going to think about what we're going to do here and then kind of go from there. It might... You see, it would be cool to have buildings here, but I don't want it to obscure the view of the old fort. So I'm tempted to maybe just not, or maybe just put a few small ones. I don't really know just yet. So I've decided that I think just having this kind of open and unbuilt on is unbuilt on, not developed, whatever you want to phrase that as, is probably going to be better, because it kind of then leaves this more open to look at. And I think that's fine. We've got the little part down here. This now leads somewhere, which is good. But let's get on to thinking about this side of the river, because obviously if we look out at this sort of distance away, it's kind of like a twin river sort of vibes, and it would be nice to build kind of round here, build along here, and in the centre, of course. But as this, obviously our straight plaza, it goes off to all of the cool, important buildings that we can place down, kind of. That's the main, so that's the main road out. That's the weird haunted house windmill area. That's the castle down that road. That's the bridge. That's train station. So it would make sense for us to have something awesome here as well. And I've got a couple of ideas, but before I do that, I'm just going to straighten this road out. I'm probably just going to bring that out to about here. And then we're just going to bring a road out like this, because we want this to have a really nice view. And I think our best bet will be something really old and traditional, like this city hall. I think this will look really cool. So if we put that down... Oh, what happened there? If we put this down, just hear me out, don't worry about it. It's going to make sense. And then we budge that over to be the centre here, just like that. I'd say that's probably around the centre. And then we want to do the upgrades from each side. And then what we want to do is we want to grab one of these buildings, and we just want to grab this. Oh, that's not quite right, is it? That's not quite the right colour. So we want that to actually be slightly darker. So I think what we'll do is we'll grab that, we'll copy this colour here, and then we'll go over to this. Yes, that'll do. Then we go into... Oh no, don't tell me that we won't be able to do it onto the extensions as well. Maybe, maybe not. Come on. Yes. Let me cook. There we go. And at least that kind of blends in now with the city. We just want to connect the underground connections up. So we'll just do that like so for now. Hopefully that should link up. And then we'll connect our wonderful water pipes just in the same sort of thing. It doesn't need to look pretty. I'm hoping that will allow that to be normal. Good. And now if you look over here, that looks pretty cool. It's kind of like the mayor's house, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of old enough to fit the theme, in my opinion. I think that looks quite cool, and it's definitely a good sort of view over here. I've thought about many assets, different ones. I've had a little look around. I've had a little shop around. Again, this could have worked. That's quite nice, actually, now I look at it. Let's just have a quick look at this, shall we? That probably looks a bit older and more traditional. But I would quite like a nice centerpiece asset like this one, like, 'cause it's a lot bigger. Can we even recolor this one? Don't know if we can, you know. Doesn't seem to want to let me recolor this one, unfortunately. So I'm of the opinion that I think this is going to be quite cool to have, and I would be happy having that in my city. So what we might do is keep that like that, and then what I'm going to do, because I want, when you come over the bridge, to be able to just view this straight away, so I might make these roads to go out like so, and then we want probably roads that go alongside this, so something like that, and then the same along this side. Come on, give us a 90-degree angle, bruh. There we go. We might as well just box off at the end as well, to be honest with you. So let's grab that all the way through there, all the way back down there, and then we want to grab that one. I don't know if we can run. Oh no, we definitely can't run a road underneath here. No problem at all. And what kind of clearance do we want from here? I think that would be okay, like this. So I'm just kind of trying to design a bit of the road layout just to make it a little bit easier. This side of the river is slightly more modern and developed compared to this one, so I have a slightly different road layout compared to the other one. That's fine, and then that's a good size in my opinion. So let's grab a nice road here, a nice road here, and then that can go up here. It's nice to see they still haven't fixed the zones breaking, and then through there. And then what we want to do in this centre bit is just to have it as like a sort of park area, so that when you approach you can still get a great view of our kind of mayor's house sort of thing. Mayor, president, whatever it is that owns this city. Probably the mayor would probably make more sense. So I've placed down some footpaths. I'm just in the process of putting some different surfaces over them so they look a little bit less modern, because they just look a little bit too modern. So I'm just having these sort of brick paths put in instead, and I've changed here to some cobble parking as well without the white lines, just to change it up a little bit. So that's what I'm currently doing, just to try and get rid of all of the modernisation of these paths that we've got. And then once we've done that, we should look at trying to decorate this. We also need to do the same to the roads, those pathways too, to make them old like the other side, which is no problem at all. But hopefully once we've got all that done, this might start coming together quite nicely. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Who actually knows what will happen? So we want to get rid of all these zebra crossings. We don't need anybody stopping. Just get rid of those, because I don't think they had zebra crossings in those days, and we don't intend to use them. I'm trying to think what we should put here. Probably just bushes, to be honest. I say here because this bit's obviously slightly higher. I don't know what's gone on there either. That's a bit strange. So we'll have to have a look at that too. Is that... Yeah, it just looks like it's dropped down slightly. To be fair, we could actually just leave it like that. No dramas. So what I want to do now, before I start covering over the rest of the rows, because only so much of that you can do in a row, I want to put some hedges alongside the inside of these parts, just like that, because it just adds kind of extra effect, like it's well manicured and it's an important place where lots of people visit. So we're just going to hedge off a lot of this and then look at potentially decorating it a little bit further down the line. One thing I wish that we did have more of is kind of statue props, because you know, like the Colossus statue that we have, that's great, but it's absolutely ginormous, Way too big for what we want to do in small builds like this, so we can't really implement it. But something like half that size would be pretty perfect in my opinion. But you know, we can't always get what we want. Hopefully when the old asset editor maybe appears before the new year, that could be a game changer. Do we want to do hedges up to the bridge? I mean, it could potentially work. I might just do it for the time being and see what ends up happening, because it could potentially work. But we'll just do the rest of the area first, and then we'll pick everything apart and decide from there. Okay, so a few more changes. We've done all the surfaces on the roads. Some of it's definitely better than other bits, as you can probably tell. Don't know what went on there and there. But the only thing I wish that we could do is do the surface over the bridge, but we just can't, because it just clips down and covers this area instead of the correct area. So it is what it is. So I want these particular types of buildings kind of on this junction here, kind of looking in like that. I think that's quite cool. We also want some smaller 3x3s, because these are both sort of 3x3s on these junctions that we've got here. So we'll just place them down like that for the minute. It's annoying that that's slightly wider than we would have liked, but it is what it is. But you kind of get the gist, don't you, of what we want to go for. We'll place them down and then use move it to, you guessed it, move it. Sorry, sarcasm. And then we'll go from there. So I'm actually going to bring these close together, and we'll extend these surfaces right out to our road that we've got going, just so it makes it look like they're meant to be there. And we're going to do the same over here. Close the gap on these, like so. And we're going to bring all of our surfaces out just to fill in all the gaps, like this, like that, like that. Cool. And then we're going to have to move these ones around as well, as you can see. That one's actually pretty spot on, fair enough. This one's a bit skewy, so we'll give you a little bit of a shuffle like that, and then that's actually pretty good. That's well placed, and that seems pretty well placed as well, which is always good to see. So what we want to do, autosave, is we want to find the center 3x3 pieces, which I wonder if we've got any over here. Oh, maybe we do. It just, it's slightly off though, isn't it? Just because of the way that the zoning and clipping is. So it is slightly off, which is annoying, but we can make it work. So if we just place 3 of them down, and we just move them all back so that they kind of sit nice and flush with each other, like that. I know you can use the marquee mode to probably do this quicker, but I'm just going to do it like this, and then have a surface party to bring it all together quite nicely. And I'm just going to kind of go through the motions around this area and start just placing a few buildings myself, and we might give zoning a go to see if that will give us a nice sort of variety of buildings, because that looks quite cool, having these all looking over, especially if you look this way as well. Doesn't it look just beautiful? It's just a nice looking area. I really want to make like a showcase video for this area when it's done, with a bit of lore and a bit of history about it. So if you've got any suggestions, then please feel free to let me know, because I think that'd be quite cool. So it doesn't look pretty just yet, but I've just added a few roads, just to kind of get some sort of strange looking road layout, trying to keep most of the roads nice and straight with a few different angles in here. And my plan is to actually just allow the zoning to zone and do their zoney things, and just kind of see what pops up. I understand that a lot of the buildings that pop up might be different colour, but they should all have the same colour roof, so hopefully, fingers crossed, they'll actually look alright. I do have the disgusting task of doing all of these roads in this kind of surface, which is going to be very, very sad, because I'm going to be here for quite a while just basically doing this for ages. But I'm doing it for you guys, I'm doing it for you, so if you appreciate my videos, I will do this for you. So thank you very much, I appreciate you. So I'll do. I said I'll place these surfaces down, but I clearly won't, because I'm not capable of doing such a thing. But I'll try my best. I'll absolutely try my best. So I'm going to go around and do all of this, and I might... I'm tempted to potentially zone out some of this before I'm doing it, just to kind of see what happens and see what we can kind of muster up. So I might just do a little bit and then zone a bit and then do a bit more drawing, just kind of see what happens so that it doesn't get too repetitive, and we'll just go from there. So I decided to just be bold and just do them all, so that's what I did. It's what it is. So let's mess around with a bit of the zoning and see how this happens then. So it'll be mixed, won't it? And then we want some nice old style European mixed, and we just want to essentially zone them in and see what kind of erupts in the chaos. For some bizarre reason, they don't always build correctly. I mean, I like the fact that there's a variety, but for some reason in some of these spots, they're just not playing ball at the moment. So yeah, a bit annoying, I will admit, a little bit annoying. We might have to kind of help it in a way by just gridding out a little bit. So like if we had a 3x3 here, which refuses to zone, what about 3x3 here? And a 3x3 here. I wonder why that doesn't... The zoning in this game is so like meh. It just doesn't want to really play ball, which is kind of annoying, because I want this to look quite nice, but you know how it is, you can't win them all. And that doesn't look too great either, not gonna lie. Is there anything we can do to change that? Probably not, unless we dezone that, get rid of you. I just wish the zones would be nice and simple. So that just becomes that. That can go there. And then we would just need to find like a small little one to slot in there potentially. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to zone all of this out, see what builds there, and then we'll fill in the gaps. I think that's probably the easiest way of doing this. So let's just do that, see what kind of comes of it. Ooh, alright, let's just not do it like that though. That's not a smart way of handling said situation. Let's do it like this. Fill in the blocks that can be filled in, and just see what ends up happening. And there we have it. I've added some additions. So obviously we zoned most of the right hand side in using the natural zoning. It was a bit clunky, I'll be honest. A lot of it I had to fill in. Some bits I decided to leave empty and create parks. And then alongside the coast, as you can see, we've just kind of kept the look that we were going for, with the quays, trees, grass, all that good stuff. And I think this looks fabulous. I think this looks really, really nice. You can see all the taxis appearing, moving everybody in. But what a beautiful city. Or town, whatever you want to call it. But we need a name for this town. So the comment that I like the most or gets the highest like will have a name for this beautiful town, and it just looks fantastic. There are so many cool features relating to the town, especially with the castle on the hill, the haunted house, the nice train station, the palace slash mayor's office building, which looks really, really good. So yeah, how do you think it is? I personally think it's really good. Let me know what additions you think we should add, or whether we should just leave it as it is. We're not trying to make this a mega kind of project. This is just kind of a nice traditional town, an old town that you come for a 2-night city break with your other half and visit all of the sites, have a nice ham and cheese toasty in the market square, have a look around the castle and visit all of the other attractions. And I think it's just really, really nice, and it's a really good addition. I didn't anticipate building something like this in this specific location, but when they released the old town buildings, they just looked too good to not be used. So that's kind of what happened. And here we are. I think it looks really good. If you're interested in me making some lore or something history around this city, then something I can look at. Potentially I could probably make the story, but turning the story into something cinematic, it's not my expertise. I'm still relatively new to making videos, so editing is not my strong point. But nevertheless, I appreciate all of your support. Let me know what you think of the new mic and what the audio is like, and what I need to change. But I appreciate you watching. Have a lovely evening, and I'll see you in the next one. Good night.